everyone! As you could tell from the intro, today we are doing Chucky for one of my 31 Faces of Halloween looks. So this is a full torsoed look as you saw in the picture before my theme photo showed. I just did the denim overalls with some blue and white paint mixed together and kind of did a little bit of the darker paint on the edges there just to give a little bit of contrast. And then I'm taking my my Mehron Paradise paints, and I'm using all of these brighter colors there on the right side and this Beachberry shade, which is a red, to do the stripes for my Chucky shirt. Chucky has stripes on his shirt. It's kind of like a children's striped shirt, so I'm just doing those stripes. And I kind of created the shirt a little bit different since we are a female Chucky. I wanted to make it a little different, so I cut it off at the shoulders and did a little bit of a V-neck. You can keep with the original style of Chucky. Hey, do whatever you want. I'm just alternating the colors, and I did about 5 stripes total. Then I am outlining everything in black paint. I am using my Mehron Paradise paint in black, and I'm using a very fine brush, very small, very fine. And I'm literally outlining every single thing, the overalls, all that stuff. Now, I did get really into it. I do like to do my torso and like my chest and everything before I start recording. So when I get up to the top here, it's a little bit easier. So for all of that, I did outline everything in a white pencil and then filled it in with my Makeup Forever flash paints. That's what I used for the denim and for the overall portion of it. And I got kind of carried away, so I didn't really show how to do the blue and the white mixed together for the denim, so I do apologize for that, but I hope I explained it well enough for you to figure it out. After outlining everything, I took a dark teal shade and I started shading the edges of those overall pieces on my shoulders there, just to give a little bit more dimension. And it's okay if it's a little bit messy because denim does have like the stitching in it, so if it looks a little messy, it might kind of replicate that stitching design a little bit. So just shading the edges and leaving the center pretty white, and then I go right along those black lines that we painted with black shadow to really deepen the shades. Now I'm taking my LA Splash Cosmetics Pro Artist Liner in Alabaster. I use this in like all of my videos. I'm sure by now you know what's up with this stuff. I am doing the little dotting for stitching on the sides of denim. So I'm just doing little lines very lightly, leaving a little space in between them and going all the way up and down the sides of each of the shoulder straps. And then I start shading the clothing on me. You always want to shade clothing on your skin so it looks like it's actually sitting on your skin. There would always be a little bit of a shadow there. So I'm just using a light kind of taupey brown shade first. And then again, I'm going right up against those lines with a black shadow. I always like to use a lighter shade first and then go right up against the lines with a little bit of black and blend it into the lighter shade I did. I'm coloring in these buttons. I'm using my Beachberry red color from Mehron Paradise paints. I'm doing the buttons red. Then first I shaded around them with a kind of black color, and then I went up against it and kind of blended it out more with some blue to go into the denim. And then I outlined the buttons in black. And I did some little detailing on the button, like the sides are kind of raised, you know, when you look at a button, the outside edge of it's raised, and then it has little dots in the middle, so I created that. Today for my face, I'm using my Boscia Perfecting White Charcoal Mattifying Primer, and I'm just using it in the areas where I have larger pores and I get oily at. We want a doll-like skin texture because Chucky is a doll. So I did that in those areas to shrink into my pores, and then I did my primerizer from Smashbox on the rest of my face to give that kind of glowy effect. Covering up just one brow today, I'm using my washable glue stick. Totally comes off your brows with water. And I'm just covering up my right eyebrow, going back and forth through the hairs a couple of times. Then I take my spoolie and I lay all those hairs flat. Y'all already know. Make sure you go over those brows 1 or 2 more times with that glue stick just to make sure everything's laid down and there's no rogue hairs. Then I am just outlining these scars on Chucky's face. I'm just using the leftover paint that's on this brush. I didn't add anything, and I keep looking at a reference picture to make sure I get everything right. And then taking my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, I am going to set that brow now that it's all dry. Taking my Makeup Forever Flash paints, I am going to be using some peachy colors. This is going to color correct my eyebrow so that we can't see it. If I'm ever doing a flesh toned skin color and I'm not changing my skin tone to like blue, green, pink, whatever, I like to color correct my brow because it helps hide and go into your natural skin tone a little bit better. So putting that peach color first on top of there and blending it out into my skin tone. And then I'm taking this more flesh toned yellowish color and putting that right on top. There's a lot of layering when you are covering a brow, but trust me, it's worth it in the end because nothing's more irritating to me than when I can see brow hairs coming through or I can see it. It just irritates me. Then I'm just blending that out into my skin tone. Now I'm going to prime my lids. I'm using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Eden. I am priming both of them, even though we're not really putting shadow on the right eye. I am still doing stuff to it, so I still want to make sure it will be able to be set and nothing will move. Then I'm taking my Shade and Light eye palette from Kat Von D. I'm doing a very light brown smoky eye on my left eye, nothing too crazy. We are a female version of Chucky, but I didn't want to make it super intense. I still wanted to keep the features that Chucky has. He doesn't really wear eyeshadow, obviously, but I wanted to make it a little bit more feminine. Then I'm taking my favorite Kat Von D foundation, her Lock-It foundation. I am in the shade Light 46 Cool. And I'm applying that everywhere on my face, but I'm not going over those markings I made for the scars because we are going to be painting around that area, so not going to cover up those little lines I made on my face. Then I do highlight some areas with my concealer, underneath my eyes, my nose, my cupid's bow. Underneath only one eye. I only did my left eye because we're putting paint all over on our right eye. Not necessary. Don't add stuff if it's just going to get covered. Not necessary to do that at all. Then make sure you set that as well. Set it all with powder. And then I'm taking my LA Splash Cosmetics Ultra Defined Mousse in Cinnamon Daisy. It has a little bit of a reddish undertone. It's nothing too crazy. It's a little bit lighter though. Since I am wearing my red wig, I wanted to do something that would match it a little bit better. I'm just doing a really dramatic eyebrow. Then I'm cleaning it up with some concealer. And also setting it with my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. Moving on to underneath the eye, I'm just kind of smoking out the bottom a little bit with the same shades we used for the top of the eye and in the crease. And then I'm lining my waterline with my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in white, just to kind of open it up a little bit. Again, we are a doll, so, you know. Then I'm just doing a very fine line of eyeliner. I'm not really doing a cat eye, I'm not winging it out, I'm just following my natural shape just to kind of define everything. And I'm using my Sephora Fine Line eyeliner. It's a felt tip pen. Then I curled my lashes and now I'm adding some mascara. I'm using my Marc Jacobs Noir mascara. And then applying a very light pair of lashes just to give a little something. Now I'm taking my Bdellium Tools brush. This is from their SFX brush set. You can use the code CANDYCORN to save 20% off just for this month. So make sure you go check that out. It's a really good set. I'm taking my Mehron Beachberry Paradise paint and I am filling in those lines we created earlier. His scars are open and there is blood protruding out of them, it looks like. So that's why I'm painting these scars red. And then I am starting the outline for the eye. His whole eye is red. So like the skin got peeled off or something. Just outlining it first. And then I am going to fill in the whole thing with red. Be careful if you are allergic to red dye. Try not to get it too close to your eye. Make sure you're not allergic to it first. I know for a fact I'm not allergic to it, so. If you have to, do a winged liner with it. Hey, no big deal. Then I'm creating the rest of the scars. He has a lot, so I'm just kind of connecting everything. making sure everything's a nice opaque line. There's no skipping in those lines. Just connecting some little pieces going there off the edge, making sure it's all connected to the center part of my eye. Then I'm taking my LA Splash Cosmetics Alabaster eyeliner and I'm highlighting the edges of those red scars. I'm not doing it all along all of the scars. I'm only doing it in some areas where I'm going to be laying the stitches on top. Didn't find it was too necessary to do that, and it makes it look a little bit more realistic if you don't do all of it and you just do some areas, because some areas of the skin will be lifted while others may not be as lifted. Then I am shading in that red eye area just with some black and brown shadow along the edges, just to give it some dimension so it doesn't look so flat. And there is skin laying on top of it, you know, on the edges there, so it would have a little bit of a shadow. Then I'm taking my Marc Jacobs Fine Wine Gel Eyeliner. It's just a red liner, and I am putting that right in my waterline. I did not want to put red paint in my waterline because it's water activated, and if my eye is water, it's going to come out. Then I'm taking my Star Crushed Minerals eyeshadow. Oh, I forgot the name of it, but I will have it on the screen, and I am just kind of filling in that extra area between the paint and the liner I did. Taking some taupey brown shadow like we use on the chest, I am going along those edges of the white that I did and along the edges even where I didn't put the white at to make the skin look lifted and like there is a shadow. You're just going to blend that out into your skin tone and you're not going to have it touch the red paint whatsoever. Now Chucky does have some stitches, only a few in certain areas. He doesn't have it going all the way all over the scars. So I am replicating the stitch pattern he has on his face, and I'm connecting it from the shaded area we did on the outside of the white lines on each side. And again, looking at a reference picture to make sure I got all those stitches in the right spot, that I got the same amount he has in each area, the same angles. And then I'm just taking a little bit of brown shadow and creating some indents as if these stitches were going into the skin. There would be a little bit of an indent there. So just very lightly taking that brown shadow and creating kind of a C shape almost. For the lips, I kept it very light and natural. I'm using my Peekaboo Neutral NYX Cosmetics Lip Liner. It's just a very neutral shade. Again, keeping those features similar to Chucky. I didn't want to make it too glam or too dramatic, but still feminine. And after I filled them in, I did create a little bit of a red line there connecting the scars because he does have these scars go up onto his lips. And then I highlighted the tops of the stitches with that same white eyeliner we've been using. I always do it right in the middle, that way it looks like it's catching the light, because if the light were hitting the stitches, it'd be right on the top, right? Doing a little bit of contouring, doing it on my cheekbones and my jawline, on both sides of my face as well. Just a little something. Taking another Bdellium Tools brush. This is the coolest blood splatter brush I've ever used. It looks like a toothbrush. I just get the brush really wet and dip it in my red paint and then just kind of flick it all over the place. It works amazing. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with it. I've used it for so many looks already. But that's the end of this tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Chucky inspired look. I had a lot of fun with this. I always do. My wig is from Eva Hair Official as well, if you were curious. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time.